okay? Talked before about the statistics, right? And this is probably the biggest message. How would someone here define a good at bat? Right? What would a good at bat be? And we've actually, with the help of the coach from Alabama who was here in the fall, right? We actually call it, we came up with an acronym. A quab. Very good, okay? And we've asked the coaches, some of them are knuckleheads, still giving me the traditional statistics on base percentage. I want to know what a quality at bat is. And those of you that watch baseball, or watch it a little bit, how would you define a quality at bat? Oh, there it is, a 7-pitch at bat. You have a 7-pitch at bat, man, you battled your butt off. What a great at bat, okay? You saw a bunch of pitches, so what, you struck out. But the fact that you took that pitcher that deep in 7, right, is a great testament to your ability to be a good hitter, okay? What else would be defined as a quality at bat? Right, moving a runner over, okay? You got runners on first and second base, not to get too technical, and you're smart enough to realize, you know what, I'm just gonna wait on the ball and hit it to the right side to advance a runner. Good for you, that's a great quality at bat. How about hitting a line drive? How about hitting a ball really hard at someone? We call that a frozen rope. That's a major quality at bat. Okay, we're gonna take that, right? Here's the ultimate one. You get into an 0-2 count. This is a big problem with a lot of our players here. They get into 0-2 and what do they start thinking? Oh shit, there it is, right. I'm gonna strike out, I'm gonna strike out. Self-fulfilling prophecy, I can't close my eyes and see a line drive, and what they thought becomes the reality of it, right? So, you know what? In 0-2, and I think next week when they start hitting, we're gonna put them in these 0-2 fun counts. We're gonna make it a challenge. We're not gonna make it, holy shit, if we strike out, my parents aren't gonna feed me count. This is gonna be just kind of a fun thing to do. And if we strike out, that's okay, but we're gonna simply give them better preparation for that. Getting hit with 2 strikes makes a lot of sense. What's another one? Yeah, well, I love this one. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Great. Right? Tremendous. You understand the strike zone. And this segues in some of you that have seen the hitting that we're doing. We are not this year over and over again throwing, what is this? I feel like I'm doing trivia questions here. What does that stand for?
Meatball.
Close. A mistake over the middle. In tribute to our moms, we're not going to throw balls all winter right down the middle of the plate for your children to feel good. Because once the season starts, guess what? You're not getting mommy balls every pitch, okay? You need to learn to say no, right? We're not teaching the swing here this winter. What are we teaching? We're teaching hitters, okay? There's a big difference between we're going to swing and hitting requires better at this and better at that. That's the big difference. And so we had some complaints last week. We had the machines on 85 miles an hour from 20 feet away with the older kids, right? Oh shit, my kid's struggling. Tony, you know, there's self-confidence. Okay, what should I do? Let them fail, let them struggle, still love them, feed them. It's proud, and learning to be a really good baseball player is learning how to manage failure. So we're okay with that. And at the end, we talk to them about that, because when you overload like that, okay, it's going to be in your son or daughter's best interest for them to see speeds that they're not going to see in the spring, because guess what? By the time they see pretty good pitching, the brain is kind of like a Rolodex. It kind of remembers, oh, you know what? Even though I missed this thing 100 times during the wintertime, I got it. I can adjust to this next one. And their confidence is going to be off the charts better. So when they see something a little less, they've spent time here seeing that over and over again. So you need to, when your son or daughter comes home and says, look, I didn't even foul a pitch off, did you understand what you were trying to do? Okay? How'd you feel? Right? Were you distracted? Were you watching the ball? Were you, ask the questions. The better parents ask more questions than give a monologue when they start talking to their children after a game of practice. This is a monologue, unfortunately. right? But if you're gonna be the super parent, right, respect the no chat zone, and when they do want to engage, spend more time asking questions and letting them talk and staying away from the statistical world. And maybe some of you are doing this all the time, great. Next year, you guys can come up here and I'll sit. I still have one more boy who's still in school, right? And I'll be officially done in the whole sports parenting component of this thing. But what I think we can understand, if we believe that, okay, and really, if we were to ask, and we're not gonna put anybody on the spot by pointing, okay, but what are you looking to accomplish? I'm gonna point at you. What are you looking to accomplish for your son or daughter playing sports? Can you just give us one thing that you really hope that when they're a fully functioning adult at 18, they're better at?
Sportsmanship, being a team player.
Okay, anybody else wanna throw something in?
Confidence.
Confidence, right? Yeah, you know what? I can do anything. If you have a daughter, right? Yeah, I can do anything the boys can do, right? No one is gonna define what I can do. I can do this thing as good as anyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna have some confidence, self-esteem issues, but I'm not gonna let anybody else's opinion define who I am. That's what we want, okay? And we want kids to struggle, and we want them to battle, okay? So they're battle tested when the real world starts for some of them when they're in high school or beyond. Who else has an end game for playing sports here? Coach Stantil, what do you want to see your daughter better at when she leaves here?
I just want her to learn to compete.
Learn to compete. Boy, that's a good one, right? One day she'll be in the workforce, and she'll have to interview, and she'll have to learn about body language, and she'll have to learn about being able to look people straight in the eye like we force people to do. People ask all the time, why do you keep asking me to bring people center stage and ask them to talk? We've got a big problem in this country, right? You got a lot of children that really are not very good at what? At really good communication skills. Their world, unfortunately, has become this. Not all of them, and my children were just as bad when they were growing up, and we tried as best we can. But anytime that we can get them to talk in front of people, that's a good thing, right? We're not looking to embarrass anybody when we bring them up center stage, right? One of the biggest fears that people have is what? Public speaking. We get 9 or 10, 11-year-olds or 14-year-old girls to stand up, right, and be able to chat. We think when they're done here, they're gonna be better at whatever they're looking to do. And yes, I know some of you, let's keep it real. You know how many children, all the children are gone, right? Yeah, who here would like to defray some money to send your kids to college? Look at all the liars. No, that's not important, Tony, no. We got 200,000 in our college scholarship account for our 3 children. God bless you, if you've been able to do that. But yeah, it certainly would be nice. And again, this isn't a college selection meeting, but it would be good. That can't be your end game. That can't be your primary motivation in keeping your kids in this organization. You're gonna be miserable, they're gonna be miserable. And yes, our track record is very good, right, in helping you find the right match, and that's really it. I wish our shit was so good here. Okay, college scholarship, first round pick, and wherever your son or daughter wants to go. We're good, we're not that good. There's a lot of variables involved in that. Self-motivation, nutrition, right? It really comes down to parenting skills, right? That's the biggest unknown that we don't know enough about. The distractions. But it would be good to do that, but if your son or daughter is at the 13, 14 level, and that's, hey, you know what? I'm gonna just will my kid into coming to practice, and I'm spending all this money on training so I can afford to have my kid go to school. I'm telling you, that's not a good thing to do. We've seen that here. You're gonna have a problem when your son or daughter is 17 or 18 years old. They're not gonna wanna play anymore, right? And yes, college is very expensive. There's no question, okay? But you know what? You'll figure it out. The same way everybody else figured it out. You'll get hopefully a little financial aid, maybe, right? I can tell you, and I give my wife all the credit in the world. I mean, I didn't pay for Michaela or my son Anthony for lessons here, but you know what I paid every month? I wrote a check and I kept asking my wife, who is this person that I keep writing these checks out to? Who was I writing checks out to? Tutor. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, Michaela's got great grades. Why am I spending this $50 an hour on this person who I met one time? Well, you know what? I hate to say it, sometimes the wives are always right. Most of the time, okay? And I realized, you know what? And it was advice that I pass on all along. You want your son or daughter to maybe get into a college, or to some extent, someone says, you know what? Mr. McGowan, we don't want you to pay the $65,000 a year to go to school. Sean's got some pretty good grades, right? He's taken the core classes, he's done well on the SATs. Just having nothing to do with his baseball skills, we're gonna give you $20,000 or $25,000. And the fact that he's a pretty good athlete, we're just gonna give you 10. You know what? Take the money and run. That's a pretty good deal right there. But for those of you that are just starting the process, if your son or daughter has good grades, you've elevated yourselves right from the get-go. We see so many opportunities of some of the players here, boys and girls, that have some talent. And then the next question the coaches will ask us, can we see their transcripts? And I've looked at them and I'm like, oh, how do we send somebody else's? We're not having them look. Okay, well, here's the 82 average, right? Here's, didn't really take the pre-SATs, so you took the SATs one time, because the guidance counselor told you to just take them once, instead of taking them as many times as possible, because these days, it's all about best scores and combining the math and English. And then the coach comes back and says, Tony, yeah, he's really nice, but he's a dumbass.